the beautiful de Havilland dove, and a case study. Beautiful freeware de Havilland DH-104 dove, pure metal. 544 were built from 1946 to 1967. The name Dove was to indicate post-war peace. The Dove was a short-haul airliner for up to 11 passengers and was one of the outcomes of the UK Brabazon Committee, set up in 1942 to report on the UK civilian airliner market after the war. Another notable outcome of the committee was the larger Vickers Viscount. The Dove was one of the UK's most successful post-war civil designs, popular, easy to fly, and mild stall qualities. It was used around the world by civil, corporate, private and military operators. The Dove easily outsold all other UK commercial aircraft of the time. The Royal Air Force version was called Devon. The Royal Navy version was called Sea Devon. The Dove featured several modern innovations: all-metal structure, constant-speed propellers, flaps, retractable tricycle undercarriage, and an anti-icing system. Dove approximate performance. Cruise speed 163 knots, 230 miles per hour, 370 kilometers per hour. Service ceiling 21,700 feet, 6,610 meters. Range 880 miles, 1,420 kilometers. Empty weight 6,320 pounds, 2,876 kilograms. And max weight 8,950 pounds, 4,060 kilograms. The Dove was perhaps unfairly overshadowed by de Havilland's more glamorous aircraft: Vampires, top left; Hornets, top right; Mosquitoes, bottom left; and Comets, bottom right. The Dove was designed for easy maintenance, see picture, and easy inside reconfiguration. Crew was usually pilot and radio operator, but easily reconfigured for 2 pilots. There were numerous variants of the Dove, and 2 aircraft developed from it, namely the slightly larger 4-engine, Heron, top, and the Australian trimotor, Drover, bottom. The Dove was the successor to the de Havilland Dragon Rapide pre-war biplane shown here. Later in the video, as a case study example of the use of the Dove, we will follow the life of one of them that came to Australia and flew for airlines and medical services, including the world-renowned Royal Flying Doctor Service. Approaching former Hatfield Airfield, UK. The first flight of the prototype Dove was here in September 1945, and initial production a year later was also here. The airfield and de Havilland factory, a little north of London, no longer exist. They occupied the area of the open space and buildings directly ahead. The original control tower and large hangar have been retained, but repurposed. Hatfield Airfield and de Havilland factory. 1947. No longer exist. Freeware EGLF Farnborough Airport, UK. After its first flight at Hatfield, the prototype Dove underwent further testing and development here at Farnborough Royal Aircraft Establishment, a little west of London. It then returned to Hatfield for modifications and more testing. A certificate of airworthiness was granted in May 1946. Havilland Airport, UK. Former Vickers, then de Havilland factory is the large sawtooth roof building right-hand side, now an Airbus factory. Large-scale production of the Dove was underway at Hatfield by September 1946, but with increasing sales and Hatfield not being able to be expanded, production moved in 1951 to the larger former wartime Vickers factory here at Havilland, North Wales. PPH Perth International Airport, Australia. Now, as a case study of the use of the Dove, we will follow the life of one of them. In its 24 years in Australia, it went through 10 registrations. It was built in the UK in 1947 and shipped to and assembled at Perth Airport, Australia, for Airlines, WA, in 1948. Airlines, WA, later became Mac Robertson Miller Airlines, MMA. August 1951, our case study aircraft suffered wing damage taking off from Outback Mount Vernon Station on a flight to Wittenoom. Air Safety Network Accident Report. On the 16th of October 1951, the Australian Department of Civil Aviation, DCA, ordered the grounding of all Australian registered Doves following the structural failure the day before of another Dove main wing spar, resulting in the death of all 7 on board and the destruction of the aircraft. Although a bit unclear, I'll allow a short time to read the accident report for those who wish to. On the same day as the grounding of the Doves, the 16th of November 1951, our case study aircraft had flown the same Perth to Kalgoorlie route as the crashed aircraft. Our aircraft was immediately inspected at Kalgoorlie and was found to have a crack in the main wing spar. The DCA refused to let it be ferried back to Perth, even without passengers, so it was dismantled and trucked back to Perth. It was repaired and upgraded and resumed service with MMA in January 1952. Freeware YFTZ Fitzroy Crossing Airport, Australia. In August 1958, our case study aircraft, flying an MMA scheduled airline service, struck a fence landing at dusk at Outback Fitzroy Crossing, WA, causing damage to the flaps and tailplane, but no injuries. In January 1959, our case study aircraft was sold to the Australian Royal Doctor Flying Service, RFDS. It provided life-saving service for the RFDS for the next 6 years. Freeware YTWB Toowoomba Airport, Australia. In August 1966, our case study aircraft was sold to Richards Rent-A-Plane in Toowoomba, Queensland. It served with that organisation for 1 year. International Airport, Solomon Islands. In 1968, our case study aircraft was leased and then sold to Solomon Islands Airways. It served with that airline for 2 to 3 years. SBK Bankstown Airport, Australia. In 1971, our case study aircraft was ferried here to Bankstown, Sydney. In 1972, it was sold as scrap, an ignominious end for a beautiful aircraft that provided valuable service for a quarter of a century. Since these pictures were taken, the fuselage was removed from this location in 2020 and placed in storage pending preservation. Here's hoping for a better outcome. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked. Now enjoy some Dove real-life footage from Switzerland.